Salutations, Utopians. Hope all is well with everyone. Wanted to recap yesterday's play-in. We had two doubleheaders. Both did not cease to disappoint. Lakers versus Pelicans, Warriors versus Kings. First and foremost on the docket, the Lakers and Pelicans, since that Anthony Davis trade, the Pelicans have struggled against the Lakers. Yesterday, they put up the best. Last night, they put up the best fight we've seen from them since the big time blockbuster trade. Uh, Zion erupted for 40 before going to the sidelines with an injury. Uh, Alvarado went in that 15-4 run. I mean, he looked like 2011 JJ Barea. I mean, he was shooting shots, he was directing traffic, pesky defender, even at sometimes had to switch on LeBron at moments. Excellent job. Trey Murphy, this guy down the stretch, he shot 1 3. I honestly, I did not think it was a good shot. I was like, no, no, no. He shot him one of them rainbow. He brought the flamethrower yesterday. All the above, whatever you want to call it. That guy, Trey Murphy, is a cornerstone piece. I was talking earlier in the day on Twitter X. I'm GL number 8 BAL underscore sports. Ryan Dunn from Virginia, who was arguably the best defender in this year's collegiate basketball level, uh, NCAA, really does rival his game. And then in the afternoon, Trey Murphy showed the power of the 3 and D, 6'8", 6'9" archetype wingman. I mean, I can't say enough. Him and Herb Jones, two guys who are must re-signs if you're the Pelicans when you're Trajan Langdon. As far as Trajan Langdon, when the time is right, Jonas Valanciunas to me is going to be the cornerstone. Well, Brandon Ingram didn't play in the fourth either. So when you pair the fact that Zion missed that latter part of the game in the fourth, and then Brandon Ingram didn't play at all in the fourth. He's just now getting back uh, get back into the rotation of things due to injuries. So uh, he had a knee problem. The Pelicans definitely put up a great fight. At least he could dispel the notion that the moment's too much for Zion, because clearly the Lakers, LeBron, Anthony Davis, they have their number. Um, Despite being up by double digits, almost 20, I think the Lakers almost forfeited that game. But at the end of the day, that's a young, hungry team who was in first place last year prior to Zion's injury. So you got to respect their movement. Um, there was no way they were going to go down without a fight. Kudos to both sides. It was very entertaining. I can't wait to see the Pelicans match up against the Kings. That's going to be epic. Moving along with the Warriors versus Kings. First off, congratulations to the Kings, but that game was definitely more about Clay playing possibly his final game. I've been, uncertain about what's his status. It's been difficult to read. His usage rate has gone up every month the last 3 months. They've definitely, at the very least, Steve Kerr tried to afford him the opportunity to improve his market value for free agency. He definitely wants him back. I'm sure no one wants to make those tough decisions, but unless Clay is talking about a dramatic pay cut from what he was originally requiring, which was in the ballpark of 100 M's, it definitely looks like he'll be trying to find his next destination. Uh, Steph was slow to start. I definitely think attribute some of it to the emerging two-way star of Keon Ellis, who I'm going to get to in a second. Draymond played great. Side note, I watched Draymond against Dallas a couple weeks ago, and he had a cheap shot on Luka in the commercial, and then the game went to a commercial. And while the game was going on, a Kia car commercial with Draymond in it, I guess they sponsored Draymond, was being played. So all those people out there calling him dirty and all that, if the corporation like Kia doesn't have a problem with it, everyone needs to move off. They know what he's there for. They know what he's paid to do. He's there to escort this franchise. He protects the badge, so to speak. He protects the shield. So don't let's table all that. He's a dirty player. Da, da, da. When you're a dynasty, you're going to have some roughnecks throughout history. Any team, you're always going to have someone watch your superstars back. That's just the way the memorandum of operatii goes. The bottom line with the Warriors is this: you got to get You got to get a big man, and not just any big man. They got to enter the market for Joel Embiid. If Philadelphia, which I think they definitely will, I think they play tonight, matter of fact, but depending on how disappointing this playoffs go, they've tried every variation. The process has processed, and they've hit their peak. And a team like the Warriors can orchestrate some kind of three-team trade. You got Lester Q, you got Tracy Jackson. Kuminga is going to be obviously their most sizable trade asset. Kuminga is, to me, a glorified Harrison Barnes. The league just isn't on it yet. Um, yes, he has a higher ceiling than Harrison did, but if you look, Harrison is everything on paper that you would want in an athlete, and for some reason, he just seems to always hit that middle ground though. And the same is going to be said for me with Kuminga. Kuminga has really highs, but then he has really lows. So when you average him out, he really does just become a glorified Harrison Barnes to me. And but the league doesn't know it yet. And if you're the Warriors, you should try to sell high while you're ahead. His timeline in terms of what his peak will be is also another problem. But you can put him on a team next to Tyrese Maxey, and you can let him get his stats. And even though I think he puts up empty calories in a way, I think his empty calories can work in a guy like when Zach Randolph was doing 20 and 10s, and then but never really affecting the win column. But then you paired him next to a Marc Gasol and the grit and grind Grizzlies. And shout out to Marc Gasol. He just recently retired. I think he also made the Hall of Fame. Um, it all of a sudden took Zach Randolph's 20 and 10 empty calories and made them meaningful wins. And I think that's what can be with Kuminga. He can definitely do numbers. You pair him with a Maxi who's going to go out there and get his too, especially now that you have Tobias Harris contract expiring. It can work. Lester Q has been held back. He's another guy who just too young, but he definitely has shown a world of potential. And if you're going to make Tyrese Maxey a primary, that would be the Warriors have to be all in on landing themselves as 5 this year. That's just it. That's all it's going to be. You want to preserve this Steph Curry run. You want to use his likeness and this Under Armour and all this market, potential money that could be made. You need to get Steph Curry a big man, and no longer putting Draymond at the 5 doing these death lineups. It can't be that though anymore. Real quick with the Kings, I just want to address it. I mean, they're the steak and potato team. They just do what they're supposed to. Sabonis, Fox, exceptional. Keon Ellis though, and I've been telling people on Twitter X for the last week leading up to this game, Keon Ellis is a rare two-way player in this league. He can go get you 20, and the way he gets his 20 is Clay-like. He knows where to pick his spots. He doesn't need to do excessive dribbling to get his, and he plays within the flow. So meaning he plays within the flow of the offense. He knows where to be. He doesn't over dribble. These are the kind of guys that you just don't find every day. I always used to say with Amon Shumpert, if Shumpert ever could get his offense to even 18-20, his impact on a plus minus scale, without me being analytical, I can already tell, would be equivalent to a Dwayne Wade. His production and impact would be Dwayne Wade, LeBron level, because he was that much of a defender. Keon Ellis is going to mix it up with you, and honestly, he's a more complete player than Kevin Huerter. And I could see the last 2 years, 65 mil of Huter's contract getting moved this summer to a team that needs a shooter, because Keon Ellis is the better overall player. He might even be 5% less of a three-point shooter, even though I think his three-point shooting could rival Huerter, who is a marksman. But you're willing to take that sacrifice because his defense more than compensates for that, especially when you got a guy like Sabonis who's a little flat-footed on the pick and roll. Keon is emerged, and a star looks like is born. Not bad not too shabby for a guy who's undrafted and then had to play through the G League to earn his spot in the NBA. This is a very, very great Cinderella story, and one of my favorite components about playoff basketball is the no-name guys who emerge on the scene and suddenly make themselves overnight celebrities. He's that guy right now. He's one of those guys on my list, and I gotta make matter of fact a post about this. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video, y'all. I'm gonna try to do better next time. Global out.